So welcome or welcome back to Vijan. Today we have with us the co-founder of Wi-Fi Studies and a social entrepreneur at Smile for All. So welcome, Mr. Sharma, to the platform, and thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ankla, for inviting me here.
Okay, so Wi-Fi Study in itself is doing really well for itself, but we're not here today to talk about that platform, but another platform that is Smile for All, which happens to be an NGO which is working towards the education of underprivileged children. So tell us a little about your NGO.
Smile for All is basically we are trying to make a Netflix of philanthropy. What is happening right now is that there are a lot of kids who are out of the school. Like if I talk about the numbers, no government numbers, then there are 2 CR. There are 2 CR kids who are not going right now. They are not going into the school, and this is the government number. If I consider about the practical one, no, there are like 10 CR kids in India who are not into the school, or they are drop out from the school just before completing the 10th class. So what we are doing, we have made a platform, okay, where our volunteers, and we are just a mediator between the philanthropist and the kids who really want to have an education, but they don't have a funds. They don't have someone to send them to school. So Smile for All is a platform where we put each and every kid from different states who really want to study, but they don't have a money. And we try to give one kid to a one person. Like it's like a Netflix subscription. I mean, what you will get from the Hotstar or the Netflix subscription. If you give a monthly 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees to Netflix, no, they are giving you the movies. So what we are giving them, that we are giving them a one happiness subscription to a one person who is working somewhere at a cost of 500 rupees per month. And we are encouraging each and everyone to get it, so that one kid will go into the school. Happiness subscription is equal to one kid. And we are giving them the complete reports of the kid to the happiness subscriber. We are giving the monthly reports, attendance. If they want to meet that kid, they can meet it. I mean, the idea is that if one person get a job in US, no, he should have to understand that the job he got, no, it is just because of the education. So it is his duty to help someone in this world, anywhere in Africa, in Asia, India, anywhere in this world, to sponsor one kid education, so that that kid will go into the school. So we are building that platform. Right now, we are having 650 happiness subscribers. And right now we are sending 1,200 kids into the school. So there is a deficit. I mean, definitely there is a deficit of 500 to 600 happiness subscribers. But yeah, right now we are managing it, but eventually after a few times, I mean, we're going to manage it. So the idea is one subscription is one kid is going to the school at a cost of pizza. I mean, that's 500 rupees per month. So this is the thing that we are doing right now.
So this is for people who want to help but do not have the resources or the time to help children attend school. So you've prepared a package for them where people can pay and help some child go to school, attend school.
Yeah, you will get the entire details of the kids on the website. You just pick it up, and the team will send you the entire detail of the kid, along with the volunteer who is taking care of it, the mentor who is taking care of it, the school details, the receipt of your 500 rupees of the school, and the attendance of the kid, everything. I mean, we are giving. This is one of the most transparent and the accountable organization, I guess, I have ever come through.
Right. Okay. So Wi-Fi, being an educator on Wi-Fi studies and co-founding Wi-Fi studies, and being an entrepreneur here at Smile for All, it's very clear that education for you is very important, and you truly believe in imparting knowledge. So tell us a little about how you feel about education in general.
We started Wi-Fi Study by the same goal. I mean, in the 2016, when I put the first video on the YouTube, I thought that there are lack of resources to many kids who are studying in the rural parts of the country. They don't have a good coaching over there. They don't have access to good education. They don't have a good teachers to teach them. And if they want to study, they have to come to the Delhi, Jaipur, Indore, to the tier 1 cities. And there's a lot of expenditure over there. You have to buy your food, you have to give a rent for your rooms, you have to give fee to the coaching institute, big coaching institutes. So there are a lot of obstacles for us tier 2, tier 3 kids who really want to study. So we made a Wi-Fi study to democratize the education, so that anyone will get an education at their mobile phone. The name itself we have put the Wi-Fi study because there was no Jio at that time. So Wi-Fi was there. So that's why we really want that everyone who has a Wi-Fi, who can just study at his mobile phone. So just because of that, we have started to put some videos on it. Eventually, the people like it, and there are a lot of kids who got selected in different jobs across the country. And the things will go along with it. I mean, we didn't consider that we do. I mean, if you talk about me, in 2015 or 16, you say that your channel will get a 1 million subscribers in just 27 days, or you will have a #1 trending videos in your country. No one going to consider this. I mean, no one going to believe in this, but we did it just because we gave education at a free of cost to each and everyone, at a quality education. So after doing for 4 or 5 years in Wi-Fi study, now there are a lot of platforms. Everyone is giving classes on YouTube. Everything is sorted out. If we talk about the test preparation, there are a lot of platforms are there, and academies there are a lot of platforms. I mean, if anyone want to study, they can study at your mobile phone. There's no problem in it. But there was something missing which I felt. I mean, yes, test preparation kids are doing good. They have a platform, but there are small kids roaming on the streets. They don't have access to education. So eventually I thought, like, okay, the Wi-Fi study is done from it, because what we want to do, we did it. And now the things are sorted out. Now there are a lot of startups in tech. They are really doing good on the YouTube as well as on their own platform. So there was a lack, I mean, in the basic elementary education of the country. So just to cover up that one, to give education to that one, I just changed to profitable to the non-profit organization and started Smile for All. So this is the journey.
Okay, so like you mentioned, Wi-Fi study has helped a lot of children and students clear the exam. I was one of them, though I didn't clear an exam so far, but I can totally relate to that part. So Wi-Fi study is for people who have access to phones and mobiles, or some kind of Wi-Fi or some kind of connectivity to their mobile phones or devices. And Smile for All is completely working towards rural areas of children from that kind. So how does the contrast work for you? Like it's an absolute contrast of places.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk about the Wi-Fi studies for the kids who are above the 18 year of age, who has a mobile phone, who has internet connectivity, who has access to internet. So I mean, that was the easier one, if I guess. I mean, we just have to put the quality videos on the internet, and they will get the access of it. But yeah, the difficult part is when we go to the elementary education. That's why right now our structure is what we are doing. We are just making engineers, doctors, but with a low quality of knowledge. That just because the elementary education is not good, so good. No, we didn't got the practical knowledge in our school days. Doesn't matter you are in CBSE school or in some state board school. So there's a lack of practical education. There's lack of there's a lack of resources in our school education. If I talk about right now, there's 70% country is in rural country, rural India it's now, and 50% of the entire kids population is studying in the rural area. So they don't have a proper access to a good education, quality education. And everyone will going to have a government job preparation in the future onwards, because they don't have a skill, they don't have a knowledge, they don't know what to do in their life. So these are the few loopholes that should be eliminated if they will get a practical and a good approach. Teachers in the rural part of the country, they will get access to education. So this is a very difficult part. I mean, you have to convince first of all, you have to convince the parents of the kid,
right,
because they are the one who are putting their kids into the streets for the bagging, for selling something on the street, on the road, street lights. So first of all, you have to convince them. That is the first obstacle. You have to make them aware that your future life will depend upon their future.
correct.
So you should have to, first of all, put them into school. Their 50 rupees will not going to make your entire life. First of all, you have to take them into the school, so that the kid will go into, in the future, they will take care of you. So this is the first obstacle. Second obstacle you will come across by the school. I mean, there are many schools. I mean, they don't want to involve these kids into their normal atmosphere. So we have to convince them that, okay, these are the kids. We're going to teach them how to behave, how to sanitize, how to have a proper hygiene. So this is the second obstacle, because the good school never want to have a children who are from the slum area, so that their standard of the other kids will hamper their admission, school admission will going to hamper. So this is the second obstacle. Third obstacle is their fees. I mean, any private school who is having a good number of facilities don't have a fee less than 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. And we are giving happiness subscription at a cost of 500 rupees. So it is our side that we have to convince them, we have to take them from 2,000 to 500 rupees at a cost until 12th class. That is very difficult because we can't increase the price of the happiness subscription. I can't ask you for 1,000 rupees in the next year because the kids are having a high fee of the 1,000 rupees. So what we are doing right now, we are giving education at a cost of pizza. That is the approach of our till that class 12th. We are putting the same fees to the school. So this is also a difficult task to convince them at a cost of 500 rupees. After all these things, then we have to take care of, okay, the kids should have to go to school daily. His books arrangement is also there. His dress is also there. These are the few things we are putting this burden on the parents so that they can get responsibility. They should feel some responsibility for them. But even though, I mean, the fee of the books cost 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees in a CBSE school, and that is very difficult for the parents to adjust. So even though we are trying to arrange for them, so there are multiple problems. No, if we talk about the elementary and the rural part or this non-profitable part of the scenario, but yeah, if we talk about the I mean, there's a large difference between we are working for the Wi-Fi study and we are working for Smilephone, because over there you have an audience who understand you,
right?
Who have the resources. I mean, you just have to give your best to them. But here, this is not sufficient. You give your best. There are a lot of things you have to manage. Yeah.
Correct. As you rightly mentioned, this was my next question was based on the fact that you said that there is a lot of convincing going on behind the scenes as well. So in an area, in rural areas, not rural areas, in backward areas where people really do not understand the importance of education. So how do you manage in cities which are really backward? Really backward.
I mean, first of all, what we are doing is we are making a team in the entire city. Right now, we are working into 50 plus cities in 24 states. So what our volunteers do over there, I have a Zoom call with them. I keep them aware of all these things, all these obstacles that they will going to face in the slum area. So after having 2-3 conversations, I mean, they will get to understand that the things will going to be tough in slum area. So when they go over there, they will have a conversation with the families, with the kids, with the entire people over there living in slum area. So they will go in a group, like 4 to 5 volunteers go in a group, and they try to convince them. I already told them that if you try to convince 10 people, 10 parents, 2 or 3 parents will going to understand, rest will going to avoid you, completely reject your ideas, completely reject your knowledge, completely reject your what you really want to do with their kids. So 2-3 parents will going to understand. If their kids will go to school, in the next year, the nearby will get motivated, the nearby will get inspired by them, then they will send their kids. So you have to be prepared for each and everything. First of all, they will say you, okay, what you guys are getting from this, you guys will going to steal our kids. So there's a lot of crime in the rural area, in the slum areas. So it is very difficult. You have to go to the slum area for regular classes. Then only you will get a connection with the families.
Correct.
I never go to the slum to a family and never say this. Okay, you send your kids to my home. This is not possible. Right. I mean, so if we were on their place, we will also think this on the same way. I mean, as they are thinking. So what we will do, we will start a class over there, evening class over there. We just say them, okay, don't send them anywhere. We are coming to your place. We are giving classes at your place. Just send them for 1 hour, and your kids will be in your eye. I mean, in the front of your eyes. So there will be no problem, the security. So if we go in a 1 month, 2 month continuous, we put an effort over there, then the shackles break, I mean, of the trust. Then we'll get a trust over there. Then they will understand, okay, they are the guys who really want to work for the society. They really want to work for our kids. Then they will convince, okay, we'll send our kid to the school. Then they will give a documentation. There's another problem of the documentation. We try to make their documentation also. I mean, I have made hundreds of plus of kids Aadhaar card, their ration card, their voter ID, not voter ID, their parents' voter ID, their birth certificate. So there are a lot of documents you want if you want to enroll them into a school. So we are also trying to give them so that in the future onwards, the kid will get the benefit whatever the government is giving to them. So these are the few, I mean, these are the few things that after all these things, no, the kid started to go to the school.
So there is a lot, that is a lot of, that is a very long process of building trust. And then this happens. So we're just giving you 500 rupees and there is so much work going on. So I was also thinking ki when you come across a group of kids from such diverse backgrounds, have you seen some spark in them? Have you come across any of the kids who are very different and very bright and you just see it in them?
I mean, I saw a lot of kids who really want to study, who really want to do something for their family, something there for them. There are a lot of talent which is hidden in these slum areas. No, you should have, I mean, watch them. I have put some videos on the YouTube as well. I mean, they have a lot of things to tell the world that they are ready to take any obstacle. Just they want is a helping hand. I mean, there are a lot of families, there are a lot of parents, I mean, as well as before the COVID, I was giving few classes in the slum area. No, after when the lockdown was there, they continuously call me when the class will going to start, when we want to go to school, when our school will going to open. It is not only from the kids side, it is also from the parents side also. So they are also really want their kids should have to go to the school to study well. So yeah, there are, I mean, if I talk about the ratio of more than 50% kids are really want to go to school and really want to change their life in the future. And it took time, it took some time, yeah. But their parents' mentality will also going to change after a few times. I mean, when they see their kids learning, okay, giving a positive result, people appreciating it. Yesterday, what happened? There was one kid in the Mirzapur. The school which we are going to enroll that kid, firstly denied the kid admission because she don't have a shoes to wear to come to school. There was a lot of problem. But what that kid do, yesterday the result came of the half yearly and she scored the first rank in her class.
Oh.
The kid who got rejected initially got the first rank in the class. And the principal was like, okay, we really want these type of kids in our school. So yesterday this happened in one of the Mirzapur school. We have 250 plus kids studying in Mirzapur. So there are a lot of stories. I mean, there are a lot of stories. I can't even tell you about it. I mean, there are a lot of stories going around. Just the first year of this after the COVID.
Okay, so from parents viewing their kids as helping hands to them viewing, seeing a future for them, Smile for All has changed quite a lot for a few parents and for a lot of parents and children. So how do you feel? Is it rewarding? Is that the reward that you work for?
Actually, I mean, I feel privileged that I got each and everything in my life. I got a good friends, I got a good school, I got a good family, I got a good education, good colleagues to work with. I learned a lot of things from a Wi-Fi study, working with an academy. So, I mean, I feel like I should have to give something to the society. Whatever I get, whatever I got in my life should have to be returned back to the life. So this is the only thing I have in my life. I did in my life. The education is the only thing. So I completely feel privileged and want to return back to the life. So this is the only thing I thought, and I started this. And I have a target to have a 10 million happiness subscriber in the next 5 years. I don't know I will going to have it or not, but yes, I will give my 100% and try to score it. It is not only about India. We really want to expand in Africa, Southeast Asian countries. I mean, where Smile for All really want to, I mean, anywhere in this world, any kid in this world who really want to have education but don't have a helping hand should get a helping hand from a Smile for All and anywhere in this world. So this is our mission that we want to accomplish.
So with that, we also covered where you would want to see Smile for All in the coming years. And we are very sure that Smile for All will spread like wildfire. Okay, so we'd also request our viewers to subscribe to the happiness subscription. Did I say it correctly? To subscribe to the happiness package? We'll drop in the details at the end of the video or somewhere in the description. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Shankar.